Welcome back to Sebring as we look high and down from the drone. Ben Sissel, what are you looking forward to today in SVRA?
Well, in SVRA, that last race that we had, Group 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, is my favorite group. But this is the crowd's favorite group. Whenever I post any videos to social media, this group right here, Group 6 and 12, always seems to be the crowd favorite. And why not? You've got beautiful Porsches, Jaguars, Corvettes, Mustangs, Camaros, and then the odd kind of boutique cars out there like that Devon of John DeGainer. But some beautiful cars, some great history. There goes a Devon. And then the newer stuff. So let me explain the groups. Group 6 is big bore production cars that you could have bought, not production like race cars, like purpose-built race cars.
Yeah.
They're production cars that you could have bought and built into a race car like an SCCA or Trans Am racing back in the day. Group 12, and that's from 1972 or older. That's basically the rules of Group 6. Built to a certain specification that SCCA would have run back in the day or Trans Am. Group 12 is modern production, big bore cars, or vintage race cars like some of these 911s that were built to more modern specifications.
Yeah, it's a really nice group, sort of going all the way back to the mid-60s and then all the way through. We've actually got a 2012 Ford Boss 302 out there as well. So this is quite, and a 2013 Ford Mustang. So we saw Phil Lasco yesterday trying to beat Scott Borchetta in the much older Corvette. He was great under braking, and Scott Borchetta is the Corvette you see weaving from side to side behind our safety car.
And Scott Borchetta, I think he had to leave right after the track because his race team, Jay Buford, were racing last night at Daytona.
That's right.
The road course.
Yeah.
And then he came right back, and here he is. He'll also be with us in the Big Machine Vodka TA2 car with us. And then Phil Lasco is actually a TA2 racer. There's Hugh Booker there in that beautiful white Mustang with Griffin. So let us know. Leave a comment on that Facebook that you're just on. Even if you're watching from the stream, which one of these cars is your favorite and where you're watching from?
You know, I was asking Mike Skeet yesterday just what car he'd like to have a go for whatever reason. There were several actually that he wanted to go at. Of course, he does a lot of instructor work with the SVRA guys because they can always do some help, get some help from a really top-end sports car driver and Trans Am driver. And so, yeah, he has a good look at some of these cars and gets to drive some of them, but there's a few he'd like to pick out and drive in this group.
Yeah, that car in the last, we saw that green Porsche 911. That's Frank Rauscher, number 57. He's actually paddocked right behind the tower. I've been watching. It's usually a pretty fast car. He seems to be having some mechanicals all week, and we hope that gets sorted out. So look for number 57 starting in 24th place to really work his way up through the field, because this is a different track, Jonathan. It's almost even. The Porsches have the handling and the brakes over these high horsepower cars, but then there's that back straight and the front straight. So it's almost an even track. It's a horsepower versus handling, that classic battle. This one, you're going to see the Porsches have a lot of places they can dive under or outbrake these big muscle cars, but then the muscle cars have these long straights. So we're going to see who wins out on this one.
Yep, it's going to be an interesting group, and just haven't seen Scott Holley just yet, but Scott was in that Jaguar XK.
There he is, right behind Borchetta.
Yeah, I see him now. And looking forward to the start of this one. Here we go. Yes, there you see him. And in a moment, that Honda pace car will pull off. And let's see if the newer 2013 Ford Mustang can steal a march on Scott Borchetta, who definitely had the running on him yesterday, but it was all run and done almost by the end of the first corner yesterday. Let's see if it's any different today. Here comes Scott Borchetta, the two Corvette and Mustang, some very different eras going side by side across the line, and once again Borchetta takes the lead, and he's got a good start again, and once again the Ford Mustang will follow him through the XKE, just going squeaking through the inside.
Good start by everybody. We love to see that in vintage racing. Now watch for Gary Moore in that Cougar. He likes to make an early move as we see Ronson just barely get on the tarmac there. Somebody locked up their brakes.
Look at this. Battles are trying to get into third place.
Lasco
really hotting up.
Right behind Borchetta there.
Yeah, he is. This is a much closer start than yesterday.
Yeah, Lindstrom takes the lead right now over Jeff Holley, but watch this battle. Lindstrom in this modern Mustang, Jeff Holley coming down. Jeff Holley might be able to have it. Oh, you see Lasco lock up his left front. Watch what Jeff Holley does here. He's going to try to be out wide, hard on the brakes, but then David Hinton in that Jägermeister Porsche 911 that he just finished 3 days ago. This is David's home track, really fast driver here.
Well, Scott Borchetta, if he hadn't felt the pressure before, is feeling it now as they come through 10 for the first time, because the two of them are absolutely glued together in this opening lap and starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Holley still in third place, holding off Lindstrom and Moore. Gary Moore now up to fifth place.
This is going to be a battle. Look at this Porsche and Jaguar. This is going to be crazy because that this is going to be a good advantage for that Porsche the next couple of turns. See who takes it. Great shots there from the tower turn. Ooh, look at that.
Whoa.
Side by side.
Very close indeed. Yeah, you don't want to get too close. I was asking you last time out about how they race each other. The idea is you race hard, but you do not hit each other, right?
No, we don't want any kind of metal-to-metal contact. I don't think there's any racing organizations that want that.
No, that's
true. We really frown on that, and you can get penalized for anything that isn't a racing incident. But we also want really good door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel racing. This isn't point-by racing by any means. This isn't parade laps. These men and women are out here racing hard. We just really frown on metal-to-metal racing.
Yeah, you know, before I really got into vintage racing, that was my thought, was that it was almost parade-like. These guys just kind of put on a show for the crowd. Not so. They race hard, as we're seeing right here.
Phil Lasco ducks inside. Scott has the faster line.
Scotty.
Phil's just trying to show him now. These are two very different cars.
Gosh,
Phil Lasco, has the modern machinery, high horsepower, a little bit more modern brakes, drive line, but Scott Borchetta has the muscle. Let's see what we got here.
You say a little bit better brakes. You mean 1969 versus 2013 brakes? Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah, we've learned a little bit in those 50-plus years. But he's got the power. You can see that. Great shots here with the drone because you can really see the differential. But see the brakes, hard on the brakes. There's Phil Lasco right behind him again. And that's difficult because that means...
Big slide there.
We're going to see if Scott's able to concentrate on his racing line and run his race, or if he's going to race in the mirrors. But Phil Lasco tried a little bit too hard there.
Yeah, he just got a little slide on, a little wiggle on then as they came out of the hairpin. But now under braking at 10, he's caught up again. But that was a big opportunity for Borchetta there. Here they come again. See how close they are. And you can also now see the gap. There's no one there. Look, they're on their own. There's your third place.
Yeah, but here's the battle. I think it's going to be between that Jaguar. David Hinton must have fallen back a little bit in turn 17 or turn 1. And now look at this. This is the part where David Hinton has the advantage over Gary Moore. Coming up to this Bishop's Bend here. Gary's going to be able to flat out. Coming into 15-16, we should see that Porsche really catch up to that Cougar. Beautiful cars out in this group, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. And down the Almond Straight comes Borchetta. Where's Lasco gone? He's gone. He's disappeared. So Lasco has pulled out.
Oh, no.
Or he's gone off and he's still under power, but it looks as though he's pulling out of the way. And now Borchetta on his own, very much so. And Lindstrom goes up to second place. So we're now watching the battle for second and third right here in front of you. The Mustang ahead.
Those are some beautiful cars. Jaguar.
Well, Gary Moore's going to get the hurry up, surely. Hinton.
Look at this. Just finished 3 days ago. David Hinton, nice job. Heritage Motorsports, they built some fantastic Porsches. He really goes wide out there.
Big bump out there, too.
Both times. He must have found some speed out there, but it looks like there's a big bump. Yeah, you're right.
That's such a wide entry at Sunset, and you really, you know, I said to Mike Skeen yesterday, I said, where are the bumps at Sunset? And he just looked at me, raised his eyebrows and went, everywhere.
Everywhere. It's a beautiful Grand Sport Duntov Corvette there that Wallow's driving, followed by John DeGainer in that Devon with a 327 Corvette engine. And the cool thing is you can walk through the paddocks and these guys will let you look around their cars. I was looking at it yesterday. He showed me there's a suspension support piece that comes right across the valve cover. So they actually had to cut the valve cover and re-weld it so that they could put that brace in. It's really cool engineering.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You can literally come into the paddock as just a car fan and see the evolution, the history of motor racing and the history of car manufacturing, because all the little nuances that progressed, either the Porsche 911 or a Jaguar, Chevrolet, you can see it on display. Go up and touch it and have a look. And ask drivers, they'll talk to you, won't they?
Yeah,
And the engineers and the mechanics, they love to talk about it.
They do. DeSantis there in that Porsche racing Jim Heck in that Corvette. Two very different cars.
Gary Moore pushing hard.
David, we're going to see DeSantis and Jim Heck here coming up. So there's Gainer, Wallow, and here it is. So watch this Porsche to try to duck underneath here at Tower Turn. He should have the brakes, but Jim's got them. Good stuff. That's Jim Farley in that Cobra, the Ford Cobra. He is a big man at Ford Motor Company.
Well, he is the man, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So glad to have him out here with us, racing with us at Sebring International Raceway. And I tell you what, man, talking to Jim Farley, I don't think there's anybody in this paddock that is more excited about cars and being out here and racing all the cars, which is really good to see that the man at Ford is such a car enthusiast and motorsports enthusiast. As Holly comes out a little bit wide there. Let's see if Gary Moore can take him on that.
Well, somebody going wide there on the entry onto the Ullman straight, but Scott Borchetta has already passed the start-finish line. We'll wait for second place to come across, and the gap now 12.5 seconds between Scott Borchetta in the Corvette and Jeff Lindstrom in second place. Ford Mustang Coupe. Good battles going on throughout this race. We'll see them now coming down to our camera one position with the mighty Hamish doing a great job.
There's Jim Farley. Look at this Cobra versus Corvette. Ford designed the Cobra to beat the Corvettes, and we're doing that still.
Now, is it right that Farley also drives a Lola, but it's got a Ford engine?
Yeah, well, it's got Ford provenance in it. It's a Cosworth engine.
Okay, well, that counts. That counts. Totally.
So, yeah, so he's out here doing a little, we'll call it R&D.
It's the perfect way to do R&D. Well, if you ever saw the film Ford versus Ferrari, when the head of Ford jumps in the cockpit, it's the life scared out of him. Well, the new modern version, he drives himself.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any scaring Jim Farley in a race car. He's done it all. And I love the look of that Ford Cobra with that Le Mans Aero hardtop on there. And he told me he wanted that because he likes the look of that better.
Yeah. James Farley currently in 10th position. Now I've got Edward Sabajian also in this group. Is he doing a little bit of moonlighting in the SVRA?
I think so. Yeah, he builds the fastest vintage Corvettes out there with Duntov Motor Company. He built that Grand Sport we're looking at right there, and so he's out there. That's him right there, I think.
Yep.
Racing Jim Farley. So that's Edward Sabajian, Mr. Corvette, out there racing Mr. Ford Motor Company. Let's see. A lot of pride on the line in this one.
Yeah, you want to be careful.
Yeah.
You're not going to get your GT.
Somebody's
You're not going
off.
to get your special GT if you mess that up, do you?
Can't tell who that is yet, but somebody's off there down the Ullman Straight, it looks like. Exit of 16. It doesn't look like that will require a full course yellow as long as the driver's safe.
This is our second race of the day, Group 6 and 12A, and as you say, oh yes, you see that dust flying up there on that replay.
Look at that line. That is a photogenic group of cars. Jim Heck with Wallow in that Grand Sport. As you know, Corvette history, Grand Sports have a long history here at the 12 Hours of Sebring. That 1963 race with those beautiful white Corvettes, so much fun to watch. And later on, speaking of the history here, the winner of the 1970 12 Hours of Sebring was Mario Andretti. And we're going to have Adam Andretti, his nephew, up here joining us in the commentary booth. Adam's going to be running in the Trans Am race, and he's going to commentate on the TA2 race, so that is going to be a treat.
You know, I actually watched that 1970 12 Hours recently on YouTube, and it was great to watch. Here comes a replay then of the action from before. And that was the moment.
Oh, is that Lindstrom off?
Could be. No, here we go. Oh, that was very fast off too, wasn't it? That was a big moment. Nasty. But anyway.
I wish we knew who that was.
Let's hope that car is still intact, because he was going at quite a velocity.
Yes.
As he went off track there. But it's still Borchetta. He's had no problems, and now has extended his lead to 16 seconds now to Lindstrom in second. Gary Moore has moved up to third. Now, does that give us an idea who may have gone off then? If Moore's third...
I hope that wasn't Scott Hawley.
I'm just thinking that myself, yeah.
Oh, no, that's a beautiful... Like, that's a Concours winning Jaguar E-Type.
I've got a feeling it is.
I
hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've got a feeling it is. Here comes Borchetta. And Scott loving it. And this is where he got his start, really, was effectively in this Group 6 racing.
Yeah.
And now he's a fully bona fide TA2 driver and has been on the podium last year.
Yeah, and he is a fully classified now pro race car driver. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody get so good, so fast, but also living in Nashville like Scott Borchetta. Scott Borchetta is a very famous music mogul in Nashville. He must be the hardest working man in the world, because he's always, he's also a philanthropist. I've seen him open children's hospitals. He's always doing events, but somehow he finds the time to race and practice and test, and as we saw, race on the sim. So congratulations,
I'm going to say he's
Scott
one of our
Borchetta.
stars at the sim eSport championship, wasn't he?
He must not sleep.
Well, he did about 500 hours of practice in some of the races.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Good stuff. And Dylan and the crew there at Super 98 Customs, they do great work preparing his cars, and that's why he's been our Group 6 and Group 10 champion the last 2 years in a row. Scott Borchetta, just very impressive as a race car driver. And we got to thank Ray Evernham, NASCAR Hall of Famer, for kind of hooking and addicting Scott Borchetta into road racing.
And he is enjoying his day. Here's your second place man. This is Lindstrom in the Mustang. And he's quite some way off at the moment. 22 seconds adrift, but he doesn't matter. He's having fun. And I could look at this Corvette all day long. It's beautiful. And the sound, when they put that into action and they actually rev it up, you've not heard it. It's absolutely magnificent. So we'll try to give you a full blast of that sometime. Borchetta, Lindstrom and Moore. Gary Moore now up to third place, and I'm pretty sure it was Scott Hawley who went off in that rather incendiary incident. Where did you go, Ben? Did you go get some mission chips for us?
No, I went to look. I do enjoy me some mission chips and their salsa and queso, but I went to look and see if I could see the car. It does look like a gray car, but I can't yet confirm that it's Holly.
So you were doing a little spotting, were you?
Yeah.
Good man.
Watch the bumps right here.
Well, he seems to handle it. That car seems really nicely set up as well. That's the other thing about it. It doesn't look as though he's fighting it at all. It's very smooth because there's a lot of power underneath that hood.
There is, yeah.
And it just seems to sort of glide across this rather bumpy Sebring circuit as he dives into turn one again.
Now, for those of you that are wondering, that is a small block Chevy engine in that Corvette. That isn't the 427. I believe that is the 350. And Rick Parent, our head of tech, would tell you that that is a completely legal, very well set up, very well driven Corvette. So if you're looking at this thinking, how did he pull so far ahead? I tell you the secret. It is very good preparation to the rules with very good driving.
So the final lap then for Scott Borchetta and the rest of the field in this Group 6 Group 12A race. And it's been a walk in the park for Scott. But like you say, he's been a busy man. He was at the NASCAR yesterday watching his latest car running around in the Xfinity at Daytona. And now he's at the wheel himself and starting to come up on back markers as he now leads by almost 30 seconds. Pretty impressive.
And he's such a cool guy, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Lindstrom here, coming down. That beautiful, I think that was like a Motorola Cup car. One of his first race cars there with Griffin Motorsports. They actually have 4 cars here with us. With Billy Griffin racing in TA, and then the other 3 cars racing in SVRA. Scott Borchetta now, I'm sure he's been talking to Dylan as crew chief, and Dylan's like, just bring it home. You know, he's not going to take any risks or do anything unnecessary. He wants to win the race and now start thinking about his big machine vodka.
Oh no!
That's Dolan.
James Dolan just dragging the front of that number 76.
Yeah,
He's
right.
kept it going, but like you say, we do not like to see these cars.
Power corner. And I want to thank James for ducking behind the wall right there, so we don't have to go to yellow, but so sorry that he wadded that car up a little bit.
Yeah,
sure the Cobra
and that's
Automotive
a beautiful
team.
66 GT 350. And if you know anything about 1966, it's a pedigree year for both cars and humans. Here comes Scott Borchetta, as swift as you like, out of the last turn to take the checkered flag. Beautifully done. Scott Borchetta wins by a country mile once again. He won yesterday, and he's done it again in that 98 Corvette. With the lightning bolts after his hero, Johnny Lightning. Here comes your second place man. Jeff Lindstrom's done a good job.
Yep, first place group 12.
Yes.
Second place overall, Jeff Lindstrom. Nice job, Jeff. Jeff's been racing with us now for about 1.5 years in that car, and he keeps, oh, watch this, David Hinton trying to get Gary Moore.
Gary Moore just
6.
holding on to third there from the Jägermeister car.
Oh, and a Mercury Cougar with a vinyl top. Well-prepared car, holds off David Hinton, but David Hinton's going to be really happy about that podium finish, and his brand new car really shows you the kind of cars that David and his team at Heritage Motorsports can build.
So well done to Scott Borchetta and Group 6 and 12A in the bag. And a great start once again from Borchetta, but look how much pressure he was under early on. And a mistake at Tower, and another big off here to leave that Scott Holly flying off into the dust. Let's hope that car and he is okay. Borchetta, though, once he dispensed with the 2013 Ford Mustang of Phil Lasco, he was away. The GT350 hitting the wall or the tyre barriers at Tower. But no problems for Scott Borchetta. Powered on through, took the checkered flag, and it's another win in Group 6 for Scott Borchetta of Nashville, Tennessee. Well, good start to our weekend. To our second day of the weekend. Here's confirmation of the result then. A good 31 seconds. He, in the end, finished ahead of Jeff Lindstrom. Gary Moore third, holding off David Hinton in fourth. Jonathan DeGaynor in fifth. James Heck sixth. Wallow Birchinger in seventh place. Damon DeSantis in eighth. James Farley in ninth. Chris Ronston Sr.